It's almost like a state of meditation that you get to. It's that repetitiveness. To be honest, I don't know the Chilterns at all. Never ridden here. It's a long way, so we'll have to see. I'll be going as fast as I can. The key is not to set off too hard. I'm aiming for 15 hours for this. My name is Nicky Shaw. I'm 35. I was born in Rodburn, which is in South Yorkshire. Yeah, I've always been quite sporty, and I think it really took off not until I was maybe 18, 19. So I took a gap year out to New Zealand and Australia between college and university. So that's when I spent 6 months in the South Island of New Zealand. So really got into cycling there. And when I came back to the UK, joined the cycling club at university, and then just decided that, yeah, that was a sport that I really loved. So tomorrow I'm doing the Royal Chilterns Way, which is a 280 kilometre route. It's a new route that's just been released by Cycling UK. It's part of their growing collection of kind of long distance, multi-day bikepacking routes. So yeah, 280 kilometres, mixed terrain. I think it's about half road, half off-road. Going from Reading, so a big lap into the Chilterns and then back into Reading again. The amount of climbing says it's going to be 3,000 metres, but it's always underestimated, so I think it's probably going to be more like 4,000 to 5,000. It was in my early 20s, after I'd graduated from university. I did do a bit of road racing, so this is more, traditional crit racing, a few national road races with a development women's team as well. But then I did that for a couple of years and then realised that it wasn't really for me. I enjoyed more like the adventure aspect of cycling and sort of pushing my physical limits in terms of distance and endurance rather than short races. The longest ride I first did, so where the ultra cycling really took off, was in 2015, and that was with Paris Audax. So it's 1,200 kilometre Audax from Paris and then Brest, then back to Paris again. So yeah, that was an incredible I did it just within the cut-off as well, so I think it was 96 hours or something, and it was the first time I'd ever done sort of multi-day back-to-back cycling. And then when I finished that, I realised that it was something that was achievable and my body could actually cope with it. I decided to train and do the Super Van Under series, so you need to do 100, 200, 300, 400 and 600 kilometre Audax. So it was a combination of those rides, especially the 600 when you're having to do back-to-back days, and then of course the Paris-Brest Paris as well. So what is an FKT? The fastest known time is a format of ultra distance racing where it's just you and the route against the clock. An FKT attempt can be attempted by anyone at any time of year. It can be on any established route, and there are rules and guidelines to be followed for the ride to be verified as the official fastest known time. The rider must be totally self-supported and not receive any assistance or support from any external parties. Anything that is commercially available to everyone is absolutely fine. for instance, like a bike shop or a supermarket, so anyone else who wants to go and attend that same route can actually revisit those shops as well, so that's not a problem. And of course, like following the laws of the road must be followed, so no jumping red lights, no trespassing on private land or property as well. So the bike that I used for the attempt was the Canyon Grail, and the only issue I had was with that rear tyre and the hole in the tyre, which was quite a quick fix, to be honest. So other than that, I didn't really have any other major issues apart from a little bit of brake rub towards the end, which I didn't even realise, to be honest. So, but by the time it gets dark, you just want to carry on and not having to, stop and fix things. So I did push on to the finish. If I was to recommend like the perfect bike to do this route, it would probably be a kind of Franken bike. So I'd say like a drop bar mountain bike, because the off-road sections of the route can be incredibly rough going, incredibly bumpy, and having like a rigid fork actually takes a lot of strain on your hands, especially on the descents. So just having some front suspension would be a really, really good idea there. Or even just wider tyres. So the max tyre clearance I can get on is 42mm. But if I had the option to go bigger, I probably would put like 2.1 mountain bike tyres on there, just for a little bit of extra cushioning for the hands, really. So the final stop was at 220 kilometres, which is in Marlow, and after I left Marlow, I had a quick stop there just to get some water for the final stretch, and but the only food I bought was actually just a wrap. In hindsight, after I left, I didn't actually have that much food on me, so that was a bit of a mistake. Not really wanting to kind of finish with lots of excess food, but then the stretch just after Marlow was a lot tougher than I was expecting it to be. So in hindsight, I could have done with more food. Well, the final stretch of the ride, the last 50 kilometres, does seem to kind of drag on quite a lot, especially when it's dark. There isn't really many reference points to kind of keep you occupied and, look at the scenery and things like that. So it is just a case of ticking down the kilometres. You just got to keep pushing on. There's no point in stopping, because you just have to keep pushing really to the finish. And the last 30 kilometres was quite easy going, actually, quite nice, fast rolling roads. So yeah, and then the finish line just came quite abruptly, like it does in all ultra distance races and long distance events. So I finished the ride at 11:30 at night. It was quite a bit later than I wanted to finish. I was originally aiming between 9 and 10 at night, which would have been between 15 and 16 hours for the whole elapsed time. So my final time was actually 17 hours 46 minutes. Probably stopped for a little bit longer than I really wanted to, just because of those mechanicals and stopping for food and water. All the time adds up. But when I finally got back to the hotel and went to bed at kind of 12:30, the body's just so exhausted from the effort from the day that I wasn't able to sleep for hours and hours. So I think I was still up at 3 a.m. in the morning and trying to get to sleep, because the body's exhausted but the mind is still completely wired. It's still riding the bike, passing through all these landscapes, and it just takes quite a bit of time to kind of come down from that experience. The initial feeling of finishing the ride was relief, to to be able to stop pedalling and actually finally stop and rest. And then the elation, of course, of actually having ridden for 280 kilometres across the landscape that I'd never been to before, and the achievement of that ride. And then, of course, in terms of the feelings coming from the physical body, a lot of overwhelm and just feeling extremely wired from being on the move for nearly 18 hours. It's really quite overwhelming, just kind of passing through all those landscapes and just taking in all those new scenery and everything that you see along the way. It's something that needs to be processed over time, and that's actually what kept me awake, because I was so wired from that experience. And then finally, there's always a real sense of gratitude for being able to do these long rides. Just feeling grateful for having a body and a mind that actually allows me to push to these kind of endurance limits and push beyond what you think you can do, really. And the way that ultra-distance cycling just shapes me as a person.